So you are in the right place if you have a purpose-driven business idea, but you haven't taken any action. Or maybe you've done all the research and planning. You've been on YouTube University, you've been Googling, you've been trying to put the pieces together on your own, but you still feel stuck on what steps that you need to take next. So let me know which one are you in the chat. Are you number one? You have the idea and you haven't taken any action. And for you all who filled out the registration before, you all let me know already. So just drop it in the chat where you are along your journey. You haven't taken any action, or you've been trying to figure it out and you're like, Blue, I've done all the research and I'm so overwhelmed. I'm doing the work, but for some reason, things are just not working out, right? And three is you have your business, but your current results don't match the results that you desire, right? So you've started, but you're like, I'm not making the money that I want, or this is overwhelming. I still don't have the freedom that I actually want and that I know that's possible. Okay, so I see a lot of threes in the chat. I see twos, I see the ones, and I get it. Not Kara's making up her own category. She said 2.75. Okay, girl. I got you. Life Coach Dawn says 3. I completely understand. And, to be honest, there have been times of my journey in the last 10 years that I have been in every single one of these categories. So I get it. I feel you. I've been there. But the great thing is you don't have to stay there. So today, what you'll learn is my proven top 3 steps needed to reclaim your goals in 2023. And you'll also gain a strategy on how to bring your dreams to reality in the next 90 days. I love how y'all are creating y'all's own category. I see Sunita, she says 2.5 as well. And I see my 3s, Leslie. Okay. Well, y'all are still in a good place, ladies. And this conversation, this masterclass is to help you move from where you currently are to where you know you are meant to be. So, like I said, make sure you're taking notes. Make sure you have pen and paper handy. So, I also have some goodies because I'm so thankful for Black Girl Social Club. So stay until the end. Like I said, make sure you send me your email so that you can get on the list to get all the information. But stay until the end and you'll get a special bonus and announcement for Black Girl Social Club members only, okay? And for some of you, I feel like most of you probably don't know who I am. And so my name is Michelle Blue. Yes, Blue is my real name. Yes, I am completely obsessed about it and addicted to it. Hence my whole brand being blue, the blue suit, all the things. But I coach entrepreneurs who are stuck and ready to get into action to create the life and business of their dreams. So where I started, again, 10 years ago, it's like, how did this even happen? So 10 years ago, like I said, I'm originally from Atlanta and I was a student at the University of Georgia. And while I was in college, I had the opportunity to go on a study abroad trip to Ghana. And I went just to learn a little bit more about the textiles and culture there, but walked away with so much more and ended up meeting some really amazing girls that I fell in love with their spirit, fell in love with their tenacity, and really their stories of how they were fighting to get an education to provide a better life for themselves, for their families, so that they too could go for their dreams. And so I walked away from that trip questioning, what was my part? What was my place in this? I was a broke college student, so it's not like I just had a lot of money, but I knew that I wanted to create something bigger than me and bigger than a one-time donation. And so instead of going into a corporate job after college, 2 weeks after I graduated, I launched my business full-time. And I started a scarf company where we sponsored tuition, books, supplies, and uniforms for girls in Ghana to continue their education. And from that work, again, I had no clue what I was doing at 22. But from that work, we were named Mashable's Top Black-Owned Businesses Changing the World, Southern Living Beauty Awards, featured in Essence, Black Enterprise. I did a TED Talk sharing my work, and I still say one of my biggest career highlights was going back to Ghana to celebrate the graduation of the girls we started the business to support. And so such a blessed way to start this journey. And it's always been rooted in the purpose and giving back to others. I transitioned out of that business, went through a $40,000 loss, which is a whole nother story, which I do share on my platform and, as I speak, but went through a loss in that business, which took me through a whole loop of questioning, who am I? If Benet, my business, is a failure, is Blue a failure? And it made me do a lot of work on myself. But I realized that failure could not be my end. And I continued to write my own story. And so life lately has looked a lot different, but it's been great. So for those of you who do know me, I am the host and coach on The Journey with Blue, a talk show and community where I lead conscious conversations on how to create the life and business of your dreams. And I've been blessed to have some really amazing entrepreneurs and thought leaders on my show, such as Danielle Leslie, Brandis Daniel, Renee Blewett, Renee Fofana, Abu Fofana, Maya Elias, Tanya Rapley, Ariane Ellsbury, so many great people who are going for their dreams on my show. And also, what most people don't know me for, like I said, is all about the purpose. I actually have an education consulting company where I work with the New York City Department of Education, supporting thousands of their students and helping them uncover their purpose in their life. So building out curriculums for full districts. I have a team of facilitators that do workshops there because, again, I live in Atlanta. My business is based in New York. And a business that I started during the pandemic, within the first year, hit 6 figures and has grown year over year since. And so with 10 years of experience as an entrepreneur and as a trained psychoanalytical coach, I help women just like you step into their purpose and actually make money doing the things that you love and profit doing things that you love. And that's everything that my journey has been about. And that's how I support other people along the way. And I just pray that my lessons, my failures, my joys along the way will be a light to others who are going for the same. And so I love this meme. This is so funny. So is this you? I saw this meme and I was like, this is so hilarious, right? So many of you are here. If you can relate, put in the chat, I'm here or something. Let me know. Like, you have, at the beginning of the year, you set your goals. You're like, I'm going to do this in my business. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to make this much money. But now we're like clocking in at October and you're like, let me scratch this out. Let me revise this. Let me, let me adjust this a little bit because I'm not actually going to meet this mark. I'm not going to meet the goal. So let me know if this is you. Like, okay, this is actually not going to pan out the way that I want it to. Because again, this is so many of us. Okay, I see you, Shay. Yes, I'm here, Ebony. Who else has seen this meme? I was like, this is just so funny to me. I had to screen record this. I was like, I'm going to use this for something. And that is totally okay. This has been me so many times. I'm like, where did the year go? How is it already October? But that does, I always say this is still the beginning. It's not over until it's over. And so 2023 isn't over yet. And I want you to drop in the chat because we're keeping this energy. It ain't over, right? And so we are not closing this year out until December 31st. And that means we have so much opportunity ahead of us. It ain't over. Yes. Praise hands. And so I also, ladies, want us to take time because I feel like as women and as dreamers and achievers, we set these high goals for ourselves and we are so hard on ourselves, right? And I want us to first start with acknowledging our progress, because we may not be where we want to be, but gosh, we know that we're not where we started January 1st, 2023. And so I want us to give us some grace. I want to give us a level of peace before we start this conversation. And I want to acknowledge our progress. So take out your pen and paper. Again, like I said, we're gonna do some work today. I want you to write down 2 wins that you accomplished already this year. And you may be feeling defeated. You may be feeling like, Blue, I don't have anything. And girl, I'm here to tell you, yes, you do. And I don't care how small it is. I want you to count that as your blessing. I want you to count that as your progress. Even if it's, I got up this morning and I've been waking up every day of 2023, that is progress. That is something we're going to acknowledge. And so whatever your win is, however big, however small you may think it is, I want you to write this down, because again, we get so overwhelmed that we don't acknowledge who we actually are, the progress we actually have made along the journey. So I just always want to start with some grace, because we like to pound on the pressure. I don't know why that is our default these days, but it's like, let it go, and let's acknowledge who we are and where we are. And that again, we're not where we were January 1st, 2023. So go ahead and write that down. If you want to, you can drop that in the chat as well and share with us just 2 wins that you've had along this year. Okay, so let's make 2023 the best year yet, because you still have 90 days and I'm going to help you get to where you actually want to be. I'm going to get you to results that you're proud of and the progress that you know that you can actually make. And so the first step in making this actually happen, like I said, I'm going to cover 3 steps for you all. Step 1 is think. Oh, first of all, let's go back to these wins really quickly in the chat. I see Shay, she said she graduated school, new self-care routine. Kyra said she presented at my first conference, purchased my LLC. Yes, ladies, these are huge wins. I would love to see a couple more. Let me know. And obviously, we're all cheering you on. There's no shame. Just share with us where you are and what you've been able to accomplish in the last couple of months. Nikki, participate in an intimate pop-up, partnership with another business. Takia says 2 wins I've accomplished this year, moving from my hometown, which is huge. Whenever you make a move into a new place, like, gosh, that's like transformation. There's so much growth in that progress. And that's how I felt moving from Atlanta to New York. You learn so much about yourself. And started my business and got my first contract. Okay. Chantel says hosted my first corporate event and posted more videos featuring myself. I love these wins, lady. I love these accomplishments. And one thing, beat stage 4 cancer, Gatlin's. Oh my gosh. This is amazing, ladies. And you know, one thing I like to say is like, you know, keep a wins jar close by, you know, whether it's as soon as you walk in, buy your dresser, just drop these things along the way, no matter how big, how small, and just know that like it always works out. There's always so much provision in this journey. And it's just such a reminder, again, of where we are along the way. And that, again, it always works out for us. So just a quick little tidbit of the things that you can do to keep your wins top of mind throughout the year. And so when we talk about accomplishing our goals in the next 90 days, step 1 is, for me, I say think. You have to think whatever you want is possible. And, you know, we always think about mindset, and we realize if we want to have different results, we have to think differently. The same thoughts that got us here are not going to get us there. It's not going to move the needle. And so I say, think that whatever you want is already possible. And there can't be any room for doubt, There can't be any room for second guessing or plan Bs. Like, you have to be so sold on this. And so I want us to take time to think, and let's check the chatter, because we know that, sorry, my little line over here is like so crooked. But, you know, I think it's time that we check the chatter and realize, like, whatever we tell ourselves is our truth, right? We know that, like, there's so much power in our thoughts. There's so much power in, I'm sorry, ladies, if we could all mute, that would be great.
I don't want to share any. I don't want to share anymore.
Okay, so let's check in and see, what are the stories that you're telling yourself? Maybe is, I don't have enough time. But the reality is you get to create your own story. So I want us to shift and, again, acknowledge the story that we're telling ourselves and actually rewrite and create the reality that we want and that we are stepping into this year. So, like I said, maybe you're telling yourself, I don't have enough time. But the reality is there's still time for you to reach your goals. 2023 isn't over yet. Or maybe you're telling yourself, if it didn't happen the first 9 months, why do I think it's going to happen in the last 3 months? Right? I think we all have so much negative chatter. It's like crazy. It's like, why do we do this to ourselves? But again, to change our reality is to change our thoughts. And so instead of saying that, you can say, I have the power to show up daily and make my goals a reality. And so, ladies, drop in the chat, what are some of the negative and limiting beliefs that you are telling yourself around your goals, around how much time you have this year in 2023 to actually reach them? And I also want you to take time to write down, what is the reality, right? What are we creating? What is the world that we are creating? And, you know, I love this quote. It's like, you have to be borderline delusional when it comes to your goals, right? So I had an amazing conversation with Ariane Ellsbury, who is a master real estate agent here in Atlanta. I think she sold like $200 million in homes this year. And so we had a great conversation on my show for season 4. And that was one of the things that we said, is like, you have to have the confidence and you have to be borderline delusional of like, I am going for this. And this is happening irregardless of the economy. This is happening regardless of the time. This is happening regardless of what people may say or don't say, or whatever other people believe in me or don't believe in me. You have to be so sold on you and so sold on your dream first and foremost. And so I like to always say I'm a little crazy, like I'm like tethering the line of crazy. And I think it's good crazy for sure. And so, ladies, I want us to check the chatter, and I want us to really be sold on what it is that we're here to create and what it is that we're stepping into in the next 90 days. Leslie, I see you in the chat. You said, just like my shirt says, she believed she could, so she did. Exactly. That's the only thing that's stopping us and anyone else that we see out there living their lives fully, is only because they had the audacity to believe that they could. And so I want us to be that audacious. I want us to be that delusional that we're like, we're going for this. Like, and we're not stopping until it happens. And so I want us to keep that energy, Leslie. Shay says, my chatter is going to take too long. I don't know how to get started. I can't find my niche, and I don't know if I can do it. Ooh, those are real. That's a lot of chatter, but real chatter, Shay. And like I said, I have felt this way every single time, but I want you to take time now to rewrite. Okay, the time is the time. My knowledge is my knowledge. How are we going to write our reality? What's the affirmative belief to what it is that you're telling yourself currently? And make sure you write that down. I see chatter. What if I fail? Do I have what it takes to be successful? Oh, y'all, I always preach this because I fail more times than I succeed. And so, yes, you may,
Lot of
I'm not even
acceleration.
here. I'm not even here to tell you that it's going to work out, right? That it's always
Actually,
going to go
when
perfect.
actualized at
So sorry, ladies. Can we make
that
sure that
order,
everyone is muted?
following my dream.
Okay. Sorry. But yes, I'm not here to tell you that it's always going to work out and that it's going to be perfect. But the affirmative is like, yes, I know that even if things don't work out, it's moving me closer to where I know I'm meant to be, and that my failures are only lessons, and it's only going to get me closer to they're lessons that are going to teach me, they're going to improve me and make me better and get me to where I'm ultimately supposed to be on this journey. So we can always twist it and affirm it and use it for our good. Everything on this journey is for our good, ladies. Let's see, who else? Learning how to reconnect back to the world business after being away due to illness. And I understand that, Gatlins, like you said, you were just beat stage 4 cancer. And I'm like, if you can beat that, girl, you can do anything. I feel like there's so much power in that alone. So I say charge yourself up and know that I can figure things out. Like, and I'm going to make this happen. So there's so much here. Very good. I see some more in the chat. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing this. I see my motto is say what you see until you can see what you say. Yes, this is so great. And I say the power of our thoughts is we get to envision the worlds that we want to live in before we actually live in them. And so, again, I want us to be able to create worlds that we want to step into, not think about the things we don't want to happen. And so I want you to take the time to rewrite your story, write down your negative thoughts and the affirmative statements of your new reality. So make sure you take time to do that. And step 2, which I love, is be. Who do I need to be to accomplish my wildest dreams? And this is really just thinking about what are the characteristics and ways that are going to serve me to get to the next level. Maybe you need to be more disciplined. Maybe you need to be more committed, assertive, resilient, confident. For me, I had to be more thorough and consistent. You know, sometimes we like show up once or twice on Instagram or show up once or twice in the email and we're like, what happened? Why didn't this work? But it's the consistency over time that's really going to make the difference for us. And so what is it for you? What is the thing that you know that, okay, I'm faltering here? And a huge one for all of us, and I think, you know, we always talk about self-care and we think about self-care as being like massages or, you know, like the luxuries of life. But I think the highest form of self-care is integrity. It's doing the thing that you said you was going to do. Following through on your word. And I think this is so major and something that gets overlooked so many times. It's like, what are you telling yourself? Are you keeping your promises to yourself? Or are you letting yourself off the hook? I think it's, you know, sometimes I set my alarm and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to wake up at 5:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. And as soon as the alarm goes off, I hit snooze. And I'm like, maybe I can just go to the gym later on in the day. I don't have to be up this early. I start going through this like negotiation with myself. And then I actually I don't wake up at 6 and then I don't make it to the gym. And over time, yes, that happens one day, but now I'm 3 days in this week. Now we're 2 months in. Now I never get in my rhythm. I never get on my routine. And so many times we negotiate with ourselves on the things we know we should be doing. And so integrity, even though it's not listed here, that's something all of us should be putting down on our ways of being. And I also want you to think about what are other ways? Is it some that are listed here, or are there others that you know, like, okay, this is a characteristic that I need to work on? And another conversation that I had on the Journey with Blue was with Danielle Leslie, and love Danielle, such an amazing spirit. And we shot during the pandemic, and I'm like calling her up. I'm like, Danielle, will you come to my house and shoot in the middle of the pandemic? But we had such an amazing conversation, and it was around the inner work that she had to do to take her business from 0 to $16 million, I think in 3 years, which is like, what? How does that even happen? 0 to $16 million. But the thing that stood out the most about our conversation is that Danielle said, when I was $100 Danielle, I would ask myself, what would $1 million Danielle do? Right? What would $1 million Danielle do? Who would she be? How would she start her day? How would she actually go about performing her task? How would she reach out to people? What is the audacity that she would operate in? And so that was so key, because it always starts as an inner work, an inner process. You show up as that person now, not later. And so I want to know, what would millionaire you do? What would booked and blessed you do? What would best-selling author you do? And start to think about, how would you show up as that person now, not later? And so I want you to write down the characteristics the highest version of you has. And again, keep it short, 2 to 3. And you can write those in the chat as well. I see Shay says discipline. Whew. It's big. It's so small and it's so big all at the same time. And the reality is, ladies, we think we have to make these huge changes to get to where we want to go in this life and our businesses, but it's the small marginal changes. It's the, again, keeping to our word, saying the things that we said we were going to do, doing the things we said we were going to do. It's the showing up. Chantel says confident, committed, consistent. Yes. Sometimes it's being fun, right? I can't remember who said like that they're starting to show up online more consistently. Maybe you're feeling pressure, right? And maybe you're like, I just need to be fun. And I just like, don't need to worry about it being perfect. I don't need to worry about, making sure I hit all my lines. I need to just have fun and give people my energy and the value that I know I can bring. So Takia says, confident, disciplined, well-connected. As an introvert, the connecting networking is a struggle. Oh, I hear that. I hear that. And a lot of people actually come to me and ask me, how do I connect with these people? How do you meet these people? Because the reality is, I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up with these connections to millionaires and multimillionaires and things like that. But I do love genuinely connecting with people. And that's something that I do also teach, so that you can find those connections and make those genuine connections in your business. Leslie, discipline, consistency, prioritizing self, so key. I just did a conversation around that as well, because if you are not taken care of, then there's nothing else that is going to work in your business. So prioritizing yourself is a great way of being as well, Leslie. All right, and step number 3, I love this. So we already said step 1 was think. Step 2 was be. Step number 3 is do. I love this because we get so stuck in our heads. I am like a planner. I will write things down in my journal. I'll write things down on Post-it notes. Like I'll write things down on like sheets of paper, because I'm like, oh, I just like need to get this right. And I don't know if anyone else is like that, but I'm always writing and rewriting the plan down, that I don't actually always get into the action. And so it is time for you to get into action. I know it's like, okay, girl, you done listened to all the podcasts, you done all the YouTube videos, you've taken the notes. Like, let's now get into the world of doing it. And even when it's not perfect, getting it done is better than getting it perfect. And so I think this is something that's so key, is that we don't overthink this process. Because again, especially when we're thinking about 90 days left, okay, yes, we need to plan, we need to get clear on our vision, but it's going to require us to actually show up and get into the world and see what works and what doesn't work, and be able to reiterate. I always say fail fast. I want to go ahead and get this failure out the way so I can know, like, okay, what do I need to change? And how do I get this right? So that's me. And that's what I always teach and preach. And so number 3, write down one goal you want to accomplish and one action step you can take now. Okay. And I say now as in like as soon as we get off this Zoom call. What is something that you can do now to get into action? Because again, ladies, the work doesn't get done in our heads. Nobody else is reading our notebooks. No one else is reading the sticky notes. What is it that you need to do now to get out into the world? And it can be something simple. It can be sending that email. It can be making that social post. It can be, okay, I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to reach out to potential clients, right? I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to start writing the book or the outline to this book. So I want you to get into the world of action. And so think about what is it that you can do now, not later. And so the biggest part here is that you have to move with a level of urgency. 90 days is not a lot of time, but it's all the time that you actually need, right? So you have to be quick. If you miss a day, you miss a lot. All right, there's not as that many days that you can slack off and still reach your goals. And so you have to be urgent. You have to make massive and consistent action. It's okay, showing up 3 days out of the 90 is not going to do it. We need to be showing up minimum 80 days, ladies, and giving it the push and getting to where we actually want to go. And I think a good check-in is the reality is what got us here isn't going to get us there. And so we know the results that we currently have. And obviously we're on this because there's a level of like, I'm unsettled. I know there's better. I know it can be different. And so with that knowing, we realize like, okay, and I'm going to speak for myself. There's a list of things that I say I just will not do. I'm like, I am not posting 3 times a day on social media. I am not showing up live. I am not. And that's fine. You can have all your I will nots, but it will not get you to where it is you ultimately want to go. And so you can fight for discomfort. You can fight for your limitations. You can fight for whatever it is you feel like you're not willing to do. But those typically are the things that are keeping you from where you're ultimately meant to go. And so I challenge you in the next 90 days to push past that resistance. The things that come up, push past it, and know that where you're going, what you get to receive, what you get to do on the other side is what is actually going to give you that full joy and fulfillment. And I know I said I had 3 tips for you, but I was like, I have to share this too. This is my secret tip, my secret step, and it's feel. So we said think, be, do, but this step is to feel. To start to feel like it's done now. I want you to get in the energy, get it in the state of like, okay, I'm already living as this highest version of myself. I've already accomplished this goal. I've already hit my 6 figures. I want you to feel it. And I want you to take time to write down, how do you feel December 31st, knowing that you showed up, knowing that you gave it all, knowing that you left it all on the court, that you're in your power and you created the results you're proud of. And so I want you to put that in the chat. What does that feel like for you? Knowing like, gosh, I got to become something and someone that I never would have become without this. I got to see myself in a completely different light. I got to show up in my power. I got to do the things that I knew I always could do, but it was always something holding me back. What was that feel? What is that feeling? And I want you to actually start showing up in that feeling each and every day. Demetria says unstoppable, right? Like I'm a force. Because let me tell you something. When you get to the last 90 days, you're going to look back and you're going to realize it didn't just impact my business. It impacted every part of my life, right? How you show up and do anything is how you show up and do everything. So you think making a change in your business is going to be just for your business? No, it changes what you believe yourself to do and who you believe yourself to be. It changes how you show up each and every day. It changes how you put your clothes on, how you feel about yourself, like how you walk in the room. It changes your relationships. Like truly, this is the game changer. And I want you to step into that feeling like it's done. It's already mine. Chantel, I see empowered. Kyra here, revitalizing. Exactly. Proud. It can be so many different words, but I want you to feel as if it's already done. And I want you to take that in and I want you to hold that so deeply. And again, show up in it now. Show up in it starting now in that feeling of like, this is mine. 2023 is my year. I've written it. I've claimed it. And it's only up for me to make the moves to make it happen. And so, ladies, I just want you to walk away with this knowing that it's possible. And that has always been my stance along this journey. In the last 10 years is that the possibilities, and I'm always willing to go for it. I'm always like, I'm going to take this leap. I'm going to bet on myself. And so, originally I was like, I'm just going to do this masterclass, but I was like, I can't let you stop here. I can't let this be your end because I know that along the journey, there's a lot of things that can happen between now and December 31st. Like 90 days, a lot can happen, right? And a lot of times we get discouraged. A lot of times there's so many distractions that come along the way. And there's a lot of things that I like to call dream killers that just keep us stuck. Procrastination, overwhelm, overthinking. And so this is just the start. But if you know, like Blue, like this has to look different December 31st, 2023, and I know that I'm ready to make it happen, then I have put together a special offer for my Black Girls Social Club community because you don't have to do it alone. This journey already is hard enough. It's lonely enough, right? And so when you have community, when you have someone who is pouring into you, that's the difference, right? That's the thing that's going to get you to the next level of results and progress that you know that you actually can make. Because we already know you've been doing this alone for the last year, for the last couple years, more than likely, and you still haven't gotten there. So just think about what happens with the right coaching and the right support. And so this is why I'm sharing with you all my Take the Leap with Blue program. And this is a 90-day accelerator to help you gain the clarity, strategy, and confidence to help you get out of your head and get into action to bring your dreams to life. Now, again, this is not if you want to be comfortable. This is not if you're like, oh, I just want to try something out. Like, no, like we're getting to work. We're getting to action. And so if you're also thinking like 3 months is not enough time, then I want to share with you one of my clients, Crystal, who has a therapy practice, and she came to me. She had started her therapy practice. She was also working full time, but she was like just not making the money that she wanted. And she felt like, okay, I started this business so I can have the freedom so I could do what I actually love to do on my own time. And it's not working out like that. And she was about to quit her business. She was about to close it down and wrap it up. Like, I'm done with this. I'm just going to stick with my job. And I'm not even saying you have to quit your job because that's definitely not the case. But in 3 months, right, 90 days, she was able to 5x her clients. She got to 25 clients in just 3 months and was able to 5x her revenue. And so if this is you, if you're like, I'm ready for this, I'm ready to have intentional coaching, intentional support, intentional community to get to where I know I'm meant to be, then this is a conversation I want you to stay tuned in for. So through my proven Take the Leap with framework, Take the Leap with Blue framework, I help you gain the clarity in your vision and set 2 to 3 strong goals. Again, don't come to me like I haven't made any money this year in my business and I want to make $100,000 in the 3 months. Like, no, they still need to be realistic. They still need to be grounded. And I will support you in making sure that we set healthy, attainable goals during this time. And then we work together to create a strategic plan that requires massive and consistent action, but more importantly, helps you eliminate the guesswork. Because a lot of times we get up and we're like, well, what should I be doing today? I know I should be doing something. I just not sure what exactly that should be. And so this gives you a clear plan of like, okay, this task is going to get this result, and just helping you break that down to see that clearly. And then lastly, learn how to gain confidence needed to show up powerfully and in the face of the inevitable obstacles that are going to come along the way. And that's going to require you to be bold and create new results in your business. And so inside the program, to Take the Leap with Blue 5-part curriculum, you'll also get weekly group coaching sessions with me. So that'll be live sessions where you get to ask questions, hot seat sessions where we will actually mastermind around your specific business, and co-working sessions, and access to the Facebook group for accountability and support. So this starts the first week of October, which is next week. So this is something you have to move urgently on if this is something you want to be a part of. And so you would go to www.taketheleapwithblue.com to apply. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. Leap with Blue. And again, I require everyone to apply because I also want to make sure that I am able to support you in your goals. I'm not just here to, like take you through this just to take you through this. I want to make sure that you're actually in a place and ready to make this work and make this shift. And I love these bonuses because these are like, the things that everyone always comes to me for, and they have so many questions around. So first bonus is relationships that win. Again, like I said, many people know I have some really great relationships with leaders in my space and entrepreneurship thought leaders on a national, even global scale. And people are like, Blue, how does this happen? Like, how do you meet these people? How do they like show up to your house in the middle of a pandemic? Like, that's crazy. And I like to teach these things and give you my like inside scoop. So learn my proven strategies and receive guided scripts that I have used to build my social network and capital, and to help you build relationships and connect with anyone that matters in your business as well. So this is invaluable. If you're like, I don't know the people, I am like living in Nebraska, how do I reach them? I'm like, girl, we can get to them. Don't worry. The second bonus is to get noticed and get paid. So this is another thing. People are like, okay, girl, you are on all these publications. You've been named like top coaches to follow, along with other, really notable coaches like Tiffany the Budgetnista. Like, how is this happening? And PR, that's one thing I have always done for my business. Like, that's how we got named Mashable's Top Black-owned businesses. That's how we were in Essence holiday gift guides, like all the things. And so I want to teach you how to get noticed and get paid. Learn how I have consistently been featured in press and how to get your brand noticed through engagements, press features, and podcast features. So this is one thing that helps elevate your brand and gives you a level of credibility that's going to take you to the next level. And then my last fast action bonus is branding beyond your budget. So like I said, when I started my first business, I was 22, right out of college. I didn't have $1 to my name, right? I was broke. But one thing I made sure of is that our website, our branding, our photography, even when you look at my set now for the Journey with Blue, it's like, it's not going to look broke. I'm going to tell you that, which is how, we were able to even do partnerships with like Walmart and Pantene, because they're thinking like, oh, this is a big company. And it's like, okay, this is girl, like literally on the east side of Atlanta doing this, but we got so many great opportunities because we branded even on a budget. So in this masterclass, I will help you and show you my own tips and strategies that I've used over the years to brand and to take it to the next level. So it looks bigger than what you actually may be at this point. All right. So in this bonus bundle, you'll get relationships that win, get noticed and get paid, and branding beyond belief, which I love all of these. I'm like, wow, these are so good. And so you'll get everything that I shared before, the 5-part curriculum, the weekly coaching sessions, hot sessions and co-working, the Facebook group that I'll also be checking in with. But more importantly, you'll have a community of other like-minded women who you all can support and share resources with each other as well. The bonuses, again, we start next week. So make sure you go to apply at taketheleapwithblue.com. And so typically, you add everything up, you're like, how much is this? I even remember paying for one of the PR programs, which I actually didn't get anything from. I was like, I already know all this. I paid like $2,200 for that program, and it was not good. So I know like the value of this is typically around $5,000, $6,000, right? But again, we're all just beginning. So it's not that, obviously. And I usually offer this program to my community, which I have launched in the last year, is at $19.97. But like I said, I am so thankful for this partnership with Black Girl Social Club. We have something special. And because we have 90 days left, and I'm like, let's kill this thing. Let's go for it. And for Black Girl Social Club members only, the price is $297 a month. So for the next 3 months, $297, which is crazy value, 60% off. But when you think about it, for 90 days, that's only $9.90 a day. And so I just asked yourself, is your dream worth it? It's the possibility of what you can become, of what you get to create, of standing in the middle of your dream, of standing in the middle of like the reality of this. Being able to touch it, being able to feel it, knowing that it's here, is it worth $9.90 a day, right? And so if that's you, then again, I invite you to apply to Take the Leap with Blue. And again, I put the link in the chat, and you all have that information to apply. And I look forward to supporting you along the journey because, again, I know what it feels like to do it on your own. I know what it feels like to be putting yourself out there and still not get the results. And so, again, if you are ready for the support, I'm ready to support you along the journey because you don't have to do it alone. And so, again, here's the information for the registration. I'm only accepting 6 clients because, again, I like to give specialized support. I also am not trying to like stretch myself too thin and drive myself crazy. I like to keep a very light kind of schedule. And so if this is you, definitely apply now. Go to taketheleapwithblue.com. Again, ladies, it has been a pleasure. Wherever you stand on this journey, I hope that this has benefited you in some way. I hope you were able to take some notes. I hope you walk away feeling empowered, knowing that it's possible and knowing that it's available to you. And so thank you all